Wooly, do you want to talk about Genshin Impact?
I would love to talk about Genshin Impact because I, peripherally, for a second, you had me in the first half thinking that you were about to go down the gacha hole.
Mm-hmm.
But then it seems like you pulled up after doing the math.
Mm-hmm.
But you did the math, which implies that you were about to, because you need that math to feel good about your purchase.
It's actually the opposite. But let me go down the narrative here. Let's go down the story.
All right,
So
I'm gonna get me some caffeine while you go.
yeah, you go ahead and do that. All right. So last week, 2 weeks ago, we did an ad read for Genshin Impact, which I went, isn't that Chinese thing with the fucking Breath of the Wild thing? What the fuck is that? But, so then I went, oh, thank you, darling. That's very appreciated. So then I went and took a look at it. Oh, that's a fantastic coffee. Made by a loved one. Thank you, darling.
Fuck off.
Oh, that's my girl. All right, so... And I said to myself, I should check this out because everybody on my timeline will not stop talking about Genshin Impact. My friend Emin won't stop talking about Genshin Impact. Buttons won't stop talking about Genshin Impact. Even people that like it's all over the timeline, right? I'm sure it's even been all over your timeline.
Nonstop.
It's crazy, right? So
everyone's excited.
So then everybody's downloading it. It takes forever to download. I'm like, fine, fuck it. Should I I'll download it.
After they removed the thing.
Well, no, wait. You're skipping the step. So here's the part that really made it extra ridiculous for me. Everybody that plays Warframe got in on this. Because of course they did.
Free to play.
Because of course. There's a direct link here, right? So I got DK and fucking Sarah Tsang and Miabyte and all these people on my timeline going, oh, can't wait to hit those fat rolls. I'm like, okay, well, I gotta check this game out. So I start to download it, and in the middle of downloading it, somebody's like, hey, bitch, this is Sunday night. That shit has that kernel anti-cheat that stays on your computer forever. And I'm like, fuck. And then I mentioned that on the podcast last Monday. And then within minutes of me saying that, they patched it out due to complaints.
Yeah, I feel like it was either later that night / the next morning. I started seeing news of the patch to remove.
So what happened was they announced it like Monday morning and said in the patch Tuesday we'll patch it out, and then they just patched it out at like 5 p.m. early, like super early. I'm like, okay, well that's a good start. All right, let's download Genshin Impact and check out what this game actually is. So would you like to know what Genshin Impact actually is?
Hit me.
It's a really, really good Breath of the Wild styled action RPG with considerably more in-depth combat mechanics and considerably less in-depth puzzle mechanics.
And waifu buying.
And Chinese gambling.
Baifus.
Baifus. That's right.
Baifus.
Baifus. There it is. You did it. So, the question then becomes, this is a free-to-play game. It's actually incredibly impressive. I've been having a blast with it. But what about the Baifus? Right? How many Baifu do you need to buy for your Laifu? Well, the answer is technically nothing. Right?
Oh, you can grind it out?
No. So here's the game's structure in totality, right? And if this is confusing, it's because it's meant to be confusing. So when you play the game, and open chests, do dailies, run dungeons, etc., right? You have the chance or guarantee of getting a certain amount of primogems. Sorry, primogems. I think it might actually supposed to be primogems, but whatever, right? Well, they say you had your party of 4, which they give you, by the way. They do actually give you a full party, and it's a 4-person game. The characters in this game work like weapons in DMC. You hit the D-pad to switch them, kind of thing.
Are they all
All
fighting
right.
and you switch between them, or you switch into them?
You switch into them.
Okay.
So you'll do stuff like you'll have Xing Lang, and you'll throw out like a little bear that shoots fire, and then you will switch to Venti so that he can fire like a wind attack through the fire, so it becomes a fire wind attack, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, it has like a 5-hit combo, a hold button combo, an element button, and like a super, essentially. But it's the combinations between the party members and the uniqueness that actually makes a combat system. It's no Devil May Cry, but it's a hell of a lot more in depth than something like Breath of the Wild. It splits the difference on that, I would say. So say, okay, I'm gonna play my game. I'm gonna do my main story quest, and I'm gonna explore and find all the teleport locations, and then I'm gonna do my dailies, right? So the dailies give you 60 of the primogems or whatever, and then you get a couple from the chests here. And let's say you ended up earning 160.
Premium fucking gems, just
Yes. Yes, that's
pachinko
right.
balls.
Pachinko balls, right? So let's say you earned 160 of those. Well, if you take 160 of those primogems to the shop, you can roll a banner. Now, what does that mean? Well, there are a couple banners. One's limited time, one's not limited time. And if you roll on that banner, you can get a weapon or a character. And you can get a 4 or 5-star of each. Well, the 4-star items have about a 10% chance of dropping. And the 5-star characters and items have a 0.6% chance of dropping.
And everything else you're getting is 3 and below.
There are no 3-star characters.
Oh, okay.
All right. So then they go, okay, well, that would mean you'd need to spend almost $600 to probably guarantee getting the character on the banner that's 5 stars. So what we're gonna do?
0.6. You said 0.6.
0.6.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna introduce what is colloquially known in the gachas, as I've been learning talking to people, the pity. The way that gacha people talk about this shit is so poisonous, it hurts. But don't worry, we're going to work on the pity. All right. So what is the pity? The pity is every 10 rolls, you're guaranteed a 4-star something.
Okay, that sounds about
right.
Yeah.
Every 90, you're guaranteed a 5-star something. And if you're rolling on the banner that doesn't have 5-star weapons, that means you'll get the character. What this means, and here's where it gets really fun, Woolie, is that say you didn't earn your 160 primogems. Say you wanted to buy 160 primogems, right? Which is equal to 1 roll or 1 pull, right? How much do you think 1 pull costs?
Well, can you buy it with straight funds then?
No. You buy Genesis crystals.
The in-between currency.
Which turn into primogems at a 1-to-1 rate.
Yep. And what kind of discounts are on the purchase of Genesis crystals at high numbers?
If you buy the biggest Genesis crystal, which is 6,480 crystals.
How? Oh man,
you can get 1,600 extra crystals.
Okay.
So
Is it a
let's do some
picture
quick.
of a giant pile of them?
No, it's not even. It's actually just a picture of the
Okay.
regular thing with a bigger number. So let's just say that totals out to 8,080 crystals, right? Now you divide that by 160, you get how many rolls? You get 50 rolls. So when I go to YouTube and I look at a YouTuber I've been following called Demon Kim, who puts up a YouTube video that says just a quick 50 roll. That's actually him spending the highest amount of cash conceivable and just blowing it out instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the question, Wooly, for you. What do you think a quick 50 costs?
If you're getting all of those Genesis crystals, they're probably bundling them up at like low amount bought, probably like $5, then somewhere like 20, and then like I guess like $49.99, $59.99 for like the fuck ton of crystals.
So you think it's $50 for 50 rolls?
$49.99.
All right. It's 139 Canadian.
Okay. Well,
Each roll.
get that money.
Hold on, let's take a look. Each roll.
Yeah. That's fair.
140 divided
That's
by
fair.
50. Each roll costs $2.80.
Okay. Yeah. Secure the bag, Genshin Impact. You do it. That sounds totally reasonable.
So here's the thing, and this is where it gets really, really, really weird. Genshin Impact does do a couple of, like, first of all, I'm just gonna like let's put it aside, Wooly. The game's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want to play the game
Mm-hmm.
and actually even spend no money, it's actually a really fantastic game. I'm super impressed. I just want to talk about the gambling. The gambling on this, the one thing that they did really smart, which is in Grand Blue and Fate and Fire Emblem Heroes and all these things, when you're rolling for your SSRs or whatever the fuck it is, you are essentially rolling for a JPEG, right?
Mm-hmm.
The JPEG, the card has stats, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's a JPEG. When you are rolling for your Baifus in Genshin, they're fully 3D modeled, like, character action RPG characters
With movesets
that
and you play as them.
have movesets
Mhm.
and various differentiations and passive skills and a bunch of really good idle animations and etc. Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the smart thing is that, like, okay, these are obviously more, but then they got to go, hey, look, it's a fail. Wow, it's pretty, right? I know other gacha games have gameplay, guys, but they're still mainly just pictures. They're not 3D models. Moving on. I went and took a look at some of the other gacha rates. This one is the worst one.
0.6 is the lowest rarity rate I've ever heard, I think.
Wooly, it's worse than 0.6. Because if you're going on the standard banner, that 0.6 for a character is actually 0.3 because you could get a 5-star weapon instead.
If there's two to choose from, you'll get one of the two. Okay.
So it's actually 0.3. That's why when people roll, they tell you to only roll on the limited banner because the limited banner has 50% chance of any 5-star character and 50% chance of the character on the banner. Right? So here's where it gets even weirder. The gacha money part is probably the worst that exists. it might be the actual worst that I am personally have ever even encountered or heard about.
Now, again, you're talking Canadian prices.
Yeah, I'm talking Canadian prices. In the US, I believe it's $100 for the 50 rolls. But Canada, right? So, like, just the worst on the gambling side. When you look at the stuff that is not the worst, you look at the stuff that you actually get in game, it's actually one of the most generous. So it's this confusing mix of, considering it's like the most aggressive money grubbing gambling ones, right? You would expect the game to horribly punish you if you don't pay. But it's actually kind of fine. Like the free to play experience on this game is much better than the last game they made that also had these mechanics but with better rates.
Honkai Impact.
Yeah, that would be Honkai.
Okay. So they're basically like they're doing they're absolutely feeding the shit out of all the minnows, and they're tossing more food than anyone could really complain about
to the biggest, fattest whales.
But the whales are getting murdered and slaughtered.
Big whale
massive
meat.
Kills. But they're
big whale meats.
But all the guppies are getting fed at the same time.
Pretty much.
Okay. All right.
It's kind of weird. Like the people are talking about Honkai Third Impact. Honkai Third Impact had weird shit in that the gacha was required to be able to get like super far into the game because you needed specific like builds and specific characters to essentially beat it. But this game doesn't do that, so Christ.
Now, to go back in the story, right, there's a direct link between Warframers and this game based on the type of game it is.
That's
Warframe
correct.
people, from my understanding, are used to getting a pretty fair bargain on how they're treated. So my guess is that Warframe folks would be very upset with the bullshit, providing you care about what it's offering you for that insane price.
Well, here's the thing. Warframe people and Warframe YouTubers and Warframe content creators tend to buy the Prime frames when they come out so that they can cover them. And the Prime frames when they come out are like, Christ, what's the Prime right now? Was it an Aros?
Because I guess
Yeah, right now it's Inaros. And if you want to buy Inaros in the Prime thing, that's $145.
MMO players are not rational actors, Wooly.
They're not. All right.
You know what? Thank you. I'm sorry. It's okay.
So
all
yeah,
right, all right.
like
okay, got it.
If you're a Warframe player that every 2 to 3 months you spend $150 on the Prime accessories, the Prime frame, etc., right? There's an obvious corollary here to playing a free-to-play gacha game where you kick in $50 a month to go, haha. So that's all the gacha shit, right? There's more. This game has like 9 types of monetization. All right? There's a battle pass. Of course there is.
Okay, yeah.
Now what the battle pass gives you,
items,
is
cosmetics
not
as you level.
rolls. It does not give you rolls. It gives you like 4 or 5 rolls total. Most of what it gives you is in-game currency, experience, etc. The battle pass is not good.
But no one wants rolls with a battle pass. Don't you want guaranteed shit that you can see?
With Fortnite, the big reason that its battle pass is so successful is that if you actually complete the battle pass, it pays for itself.
Yes, I understand that. That's the final cost benefit, right? When you weigh it all out. But what I mean is, though, isn't the entire thing to be like not a roll? here is a guaranteed rare thing. Here's another
Yes, you will get
guaranteed
a
rare thing.
guaranteed rare weapon, no characters, which is like, okay, so that battle pass is terrible. It's kind of awful. And I ran the math on the battle pass. Holy shit! Do you have to play that game? So with the battle pass, you have to play that game twice a day to max it out, because there are battle pass dailies that give you experience for it that can't be completed in one sitting.
Does it pay for itself?
If you complete it, yes. But if you complete it, that means that the only if you pay the $10 one, do you get more than 3 rolls?
Okay.
It pays for itself in rolls.
Well, how much is it?
Barely. It's like $10.
Okay. Because here's the thing, right? I also don't like that like statement in the terms of I understand how it works and what it means, but you're playing under a different mindset almost. So it's not if you're playing hard anyway, then it ends up like just being what it is. If you have to like commit to further than comfortable amounts of play, then it ends up kind of not being a great experience that you're paying
And
for.
so this is where I come to the actual final part of the monetization, which is a daily login bonus. And the daily login bonus is really simple. It's for us, it's $7, and for everybody in the States, it's $5. And what you get for that is if you log in every day for 30 days, they give you the Primo Gem equivalent of 20 rolls, which is about $60.
Okay.
And that one, if you were to buy anything, is the only thing to buy. Because that actually works out so that if you do your dailies and log in, you get enough for 1 roll every day.
Okay. So I haven't done the math on Teppen, mainly because I haven't had to,
It's
right?
probably not nearly as bad.
When I pop in to play a couple games while like I'm listening to like a podcast, eating some dinner, I'll jump on, mess around with my deck, play a couple games, do some practice and try to set things up, right? Um, and I'm getting like a daily thing on that. And for the most part, just based on the nature of the game, I suppose, right? I think I've explained this before, but I see a lot of the pay scheme that you're describing in the shop. I see the crystals and I see the cards and the tickets to get packs and all this stuff, and it has the pity system bar where it says like when this bar fills up, you're guaranteed a rare. When this bar fills
Oh,
up,
I like that it's a bar.
it's you see a
I
bar
like
fill
that.
up and it's like, oh, you're and then or an epic or a hidden card or whatever the case is, right? Um, but like I've been overall, my experience has been I have too much shit that I don't really care about because I'm
Yep.
not playing those decks or using those packs. So
Mm-hmm.
what I often end up doing is just I'm sitting on way more currency than I need, and then I
Mm-hmm.
will make a deck, and when I need to switch out a card and forge a new one, I'll just go spend a bunch of these free packs I've been sitting on and then turn all of those duplicate cards into the currency and then forge it. But I'm basically way too rich, and I've been that way for a
Yeah.
while because the way I play is to not have a large collection, but just to pick a specific build and try to work it and tweak it. So I haven't had any of this kind of issue.
So it's this really interesting thing where they give you your main character, an archer, an ice guy, and a electric witch milf lady, and you can easily play through the whole game with those characters, free to play with absolutely no payment.
Mm.
But you know what they do? They go, "Hey man, you're gonna go on this mission. You got to infiltrate the abyss mages. You're gonna do a bunch of combat. And you know what? For this mission, you get to play as Dialog, the guy who looks like redheaded Dante and has a giant greatsword and combos and is probably the best character in the game right now. You can just play as him for this mission for free. And then you play him and you're like, fuck, Dialog's busted. Holy shit. And he's cool. And then you hang out with them in the story and your character and other characters like, man, Dialog, you're so cool. I wish I could play as you, Dialog. God,
and it's all PvE, right?
It is all PvE, which is when I was doing my Gacha research. I would call it a sampling of Gacha research. PvP Gachas are like an infinity nightmare worse because you're being directly squared up against the whales in battles, which is horrible. Genshin Impact's nightmare is not that. Genshin Impact's nightmare is my timeline scrolling down and seeing, oh, cool, I got a gene on my first pull. Or, oh, man, Fixel's really cool. Oh, I love this character from my friends.
Okay.
And I go, damn, I want a Fixel.
And like, is there any, like, so is there any, like, is there enough, I guess, playable characters offered that, like, you and the version of the game you're playing is effectively, like, different from other people's? And you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Like,
so the basic reality is that there's a tier list and that there is characters run the gamut of all sorts of quality. The characters they give you are good enough, but they're not the best by any means. The 5-star characters are all busted. They're all busted as shit. The 4-star characters run from excellent to okay.
Okay.
So if you ended up with multiple 5-star characters, you're going to have certain fucking instances are going to be jokes. So, for example, when I did my demonstration of bad gacha for my chat to show them the perils of gambling, did you know you can go through $140 in that game in 13 minutes? Now you do.
That is a really
I took the hit.
That's a really generous move, honestly.
I took the hit.
You spent the money to show how bad it can get.
It gets real bad.
That's a pretty noble move, I gotta say. Like,
so
$140 is a ridiculous ripoff when a game comes at you with a digital deluxe version to say,
that's
hey,
right.
get all the extra skins and shit. But here, in this case, you took that hit to show
what
off
if you got double Venti PogChamp? So, you want to hear, like, I'm going to sidetrack my own point for a second. Do you want to hear how fucked gacha mentality is?
I mean, I'm kind of staring at it.
If you look at the chat, a lot of people are looking at me spending that 140 and going, this motherfucker's complaining and he got a double Venti. Yeah, dude. That's still ridiculous. That's still fucked.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, like the reaction from some people is like, look, you got double Venti, it was totally worth it. Like, no, it wasn't.
I mean, that's the thing is like touch your finger and hold it to the wind, and like overall there's this shit is horrible. But that same person then comes in and says, I got Merlin on my first roll, or whatever the fuck that means. And it's just like, deep down, this is touching something uncomfortable inside of people that is probably better left untouched. And I just, when you're looking at a thing like this where you're like, okay, so Genshin Impact is it's doing numbers. It is quite successful for its launch.
It is huge, blowing up, and it's one of those things where nobody paid attention to it because it's a Chinese gambling machine. And why would you pay attention for a Chinese gambling machine? And the answer is, oh, because the lights on it are actually really pretty, and it makes really fun noises when you pull the lever.
If it's a fun enough game, yeah. If it's a good enough game on within what's going on.
So my buddy, I have a friend of mine who hates Gacha. Got in, paid the $5 for the login, and he's like, and I will not spend any more money until the game either stops me, and then I will probably stop playing, or it has convinced me that it is worth essentially an MMO subscription of $15. If you are free to play, the Gacha is such a ripoff.
You just roboted, sorry.
Said if you are looking into getting into this game, I can only recommend getting into free to play or getting that login blessing thing. Because if you get that login blessing thing, that's the only thing on the menu that's not a ripoff, basically.
So the way I see this is that it's been introduced into an already there is a row of MMOs vying for your attention. And look, man, I'm just gonna put Schluters in there. Like, they want you to get in there and spend as much time as possible. So I'm throwing them in, and they're all gonna be vying for your attention. And when one is either releases new content, which you catch up on, and then you're done with things to do, or another thing disappoints you, then you just kind of jump over and be like, hey, I'm holding onto some money. It's burning a hole in my pocket. Where am I going to dump it? And it'll be jumping between, this and Warframe and FF and
so
all that shit. Destiny.
One of the things that I actually really want to point out, and this is going to sound odd, the version of the game without the battle pass is a genuinely more enjoyable game than the version with the battle pass.
Interesting. Because
the instant I got that battle pass, I suddenly was hit with timer anxiety. What turned from, hey, I'm going to explore around and try and get these chests, and what's that over there? Became, well, I got to kill 20 of these in a week. I got to do these, fuck it. No, don't get the battle pass. At the end of the 50-day period or whatever the battle pass runs for, if you've earned a shit ton of it, spend the $10 and get all your rewards, right?
Are you playing through an offline story, by the way? Or
what? Totally.
Yeah, this is an offline story, right? This is there is a progression. Right. It's a normal game that you're going through, isn't there?
So here's where So I feel like I've made my case for don't spend the gacha, don't do it unless you're making content, which means that it's a write-off for your taxes. Because it's a business expense.
Whatever you need.
Unless that is the reason, definitely don't. But let's talk about the game. Yeah, no, it is always online because it has to make sure you don't cheat your gachas. But the servers are rock solid. I haven't had any problems. I would call it an offline story. So far, I have enjoyed it a hell of a lot. It is very Breath of the Wild inspired. There is a lot of wandering. The main quest is actually pretty good and interesting.
And at some point, it's going to be beaten and done. And then they'll put out, I guess,
a new country.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
That's how they're doing it. They have their 2 countries in the game right now, which are their 2 maps essentially, and then they'll put out a 3rd map and then a 4th map, etc.
Okay. Yeah, I just it's hard to also in some cases, right, you're Sometimes the gameplay is like you're in an online environment like Destiny. You're picking missions to go on, but you're otherwise kind of like, running into other people, and sort of like missions are kind of popping up in this big map kind of way. And then
Yep.
there's like games where it's a much more like single player narrative experience, which I got that impression from this, except the back end is all gacha instead of.
No, it's a single player narrative experience along with an exploration experience, and then your end game is like essentially running Bloody Palace,
Okay,
and it also has co-op.
cool. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is something that like when I do take a peek at it, like, you know, I fully intend to just test out whatever it's got going without the getting into any of the rules or any of that shit.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of how I would want to play it if I were to get into it, you know?
So I would like to talk about other weird things about the game because it's Chinese, and I've discovered China jank. And holy shit, is it a weird variation of jank? It is a new form that I've not encountered.
I've encountered some
First,
China jank.
all right.
There's a couple of games. There's the God, what's it called? There's a mecha fighting game that has a little bit in it. There's that Heterotopius kind of like Ruiner style top down view game I played that has a little bit of it as well. It is in a lot of cases it's really interesting because there will be a lot of moments I find that are like things are working, but or there'll be like a moment where like there's a particularly beautiful piece of animation and you do kind of go like, have I seen that before? I might have seen that before. And that feeling of I think I've seen that before happens a lot.
Oh,
That's
Genshin's rife to the gills with that. There's a million characters that are just like, is that supposed to be? Yes. The android maid that uses a great sword that shares a suspicious amount of 2B's animations and also has white hair. Yes, that is a Chinese homage to 2B. The light-haired, blue jacket-wearing, devil-armed katana user coming in a couple months. Yes, that is supposed to be Nero.
PSO2 went harder.
Right? I'm going to kiss this dog. Mwah. All right. Also, hey, Wooly, you know how you would have like a friend code or something like that? You know, like, in a game, you're like, I add your friends list,
Sure.
right? You know where you need that friend code? In the bottom right of the screen, literally 100% of the time.
Unhideable.
On the main menu, in the loading screens, during story cutscenes. I have no idea why it is there. It also shows up in your character menu. Underneath you name your custom character. It's underneath your character's portrait.
Because we live in a social world and people are sharing their footage and screenshots all the time.
Yeah.
So people need a little extra thing in there to be like, oh, you can join in and play with this person. Have fun.
Mm-hmm. So I went and learned how to use StreamFX in OBS and discovered how to use the dual filtering blur filter.
Oh, okay.
And masked those areas of the screen.
Yeah.
And that problem is now solved.
You just
for streaming
over it. Yeah.
Yeah, but this looks a lot nicer because the background changes. And also, like, the menu that shows it is like kind of in the middle upper left quadrant. So like a black rectangle there would look hideous. Hey, Wooly, when you turn on your controller and load up into your video game, Do you think that you should go to the control section and change it from keyboard to controller every single time you boot the game?
It's early, huh? Yeah, okay. It's early. It's early.
Do you think you got an Xbox controller near you?
No.
All right, you have one in your mind?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here's the button layout. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Confirm is B,
Mm-hmm.
cancel is A, right? So that's for
Mm-hmm.
menus. Here's what your actions are. Jump is A, X is examine, triangle is use elemental burst, B is attack, RB is dodge, and right trigger is secondary heavy attack.
Uh-huh. So B is on attack.
And the game does not currently allow you to rebind controls. Even on keyboard, doesn't let you rebind. This is one of those things that people contact customer service and they go, please let us rebind controls. There's literally a button that says keybind controls that you click it and it makes the I'm a menu option that you clicked noise, but doesn't do anything.
Yeah. Okay. Early shit.
Oh, wait, Wooly.
Now hold on a
here's my
second. What's
favorite.
going on console?
It's on PS4.
Yeah, that's the version that I was gonna grab. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing about the PS4 version. If you play it on PS4, everybody has crossplay. There's crossplay between all versions, right? But if you play on PS4, your account becomes locked to Sony forever. You won't be able to play it on your phone.
Oh God,
You
it's
won't
the
be able to play it on
fucking-
your PC.
It's the Fortnite thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you play it on the PC, you can load it up on your phone. And here's where it's crazy. It legit runs better on most people's phones than it does on the PS4.
Wow. See, I wanted to just jump on that because I didn't feel like trusting that that PC installation just yet. I would feel much more comfortable on a console than I would installing it on my PC.
I will tell you to trust the PC installation, if only because if you get fucked, you'll at least have a lot of company because everybody you know is playing this fucking thing. Hey, Wooly, do you want your VSync open or closed?
So wait. The PS4 version is the worst running version of the game?
It is easily the worst running version of the game.
Okay.
It runs way better on my phone than it does on the PS4.
Okay.
But also, Wooly, no, answer my question. Do you want your VSync open or closed?
As in having the option?
No. The option is VSync open or closed in the menu.
Yeah. Sure. On?
No.
Closed? Oh.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
What? Okay.
But like the game's translation and localization is dead on in a lot of ways, and other ways you run into in the graphics settings. There's like shadow distance and like whatever, and then there's one that's just overall graphics settings at the bottom, but it's not like the slider that changes the other ones.
All right, they pushed this shit out a little bit. They pushed this shit out. There's
It feels like this was kicked out a little early.
okay.
People are telling me that in Chinese, on and open, off are actually the same characters. So the options are actually identical.
Confirm or yes?
Yeah.
Yes. Resolution. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I that sucks, man, because I feel, again, I feel safest playing something like that on console, but if the sitch is
Well, here's
it
what you
is,
can
then...
do, right? You can play the game on console for a couple hours for a stream or what have you, and then if you feel like it, you can jump on to the PC.
But
If you're
crossplay
like,
is
yeah, I'm gonna keep playing this and just start over there
a crown. There needs to
before
be
you spend any money.
there needs to be a word for, like, yes, there is account crossplay, but like it is one way.
Oh, there is. It's cross-play, but it's not cross-save with the PlayStation version.
Okay, not cross save, right? Okay.
It's a really weird thing because you remember that login thing that I said where you log in, you get your 90 gems or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
PC players have a way easier time getting those because if you don't log in, you don't get it. So you're paying $5 to get a login bonus that goes away if you don't redeem it, right? That sucks. On PS4, it sucks worse because you can't just pull open your phone and log in 10 seconds and then put your phone down. For PS4 players, you actually have to go to your console, sit down, turn it on, hit the lever.
Man, like, that sucks that Sony is still playing hard on shit like this, because the gates should have been opened by now, and it's like, it's inconsistent. Some games have it, some don't. I jumped over from the PC version of Fantasy Strike the other day over to PS4 to try it out, and upon booting it up, I had all my shit, like, 1-to-1 save, you know?
Yeah. Isn't that nice?
And it was very, very pleasant.
The crossplay between this and the Android version that I've been playing is actually really impressive. It puts you in the exact same physical fucking spot, and the save file or whatever it is instantaneous. Like, I logged in on my phone while I was playing up here, and within seconds I had loaded in on the same spot.
So what's the phone version like then? Are you just tapping screen buttons?
Digital buttons.
Yeah.
It pushing around pushing the idea that maybe this game got pushed out 2 months early is that the phone versions have no controller support.
Oh, you can't Bluetooth it. Okay.
Which is really weird. So I've been talking to DK. That's DK Diamantes. He's a Warframe man, but also he's doing variety now. He's a good guy. I talk a lot of shit about him, but he's a good guy. But he's very familiar with Honkai Third Impact. And the Honkai Third Impact client does not have any of this shit. It has native controller support with a bunch of shit. The phone version's rock solid. The PC version's all spruced up and has no problems. You know, so it's like this feels like it got kicked out the door a little early because they felt that it was like stable enough. In its current state, it feels very early but good. The last thing that I want to say about this is Pat's buying tips. I'm only going to say it once because I only need to say it once. I was taught this by Buttons. You know Buttons. Takes a video of himself every time we mention him on the podcast. Look there. Look, he's making the face that he makes on Twitter. All right. So the trick is get the login thing, right? Don't roll on anything. Don't roll on anything. Just stockpile points, right? And the idea is that you stockpile points and don't spend any money aside from the login thing, which is just $5, until a character that you absolutely have to have shows up. So, for example, the current banner is Venti, and then the next banner is going to be some Geo guy, and then the banner after that is going to be this small Chinese guy with like a green hair and like arm tattoos, right? Buttons has already decided that he's going to get that kid with the arm tattoos. So he's going to stockpile rolls for essentially 5 months, I think. Until, bam, can guarantee it.
Though there's a really important part of this that has not been talked about yet at all, and that is if you're not getting all these extra characters and stuff, like what is there in terms of, like, are you not taking a character you have, leveling them up a lot as you play with them a lot, and then getting access to new moves and abilities?
Yes, you are.
So is the move and combat variety with the cast that you have not interesting enough over the leveling up experience that you'd be fine sticking with them?
If you are, you are. But if you want the other ones, you want the other ones.
Okay.
Right?
But does it dry up real quick to get you moving on, you know?
You get I wouldn't say you get new moves, you get alternate properties to your moves. So the main character you start with has a 5-hit combo, but once you ascend him, which is get to level 21, the 5th hit of the combo shoots out like a wind blade projectile. Like stuff like that gets added to them. But if you get a character like I knew somebody who got Fixel, who is Electric Girl, who is V from Devil May Cry.
Yeah,
she's V.
Okay.
She has the electric bird.
Okay.
And it's very clear.
Mm-hmm.
And that character's busted, but the person who pulled them hates them and hates the way they play. So the fact that they got a good rare character was wasted because they're like, but I hate them, and I hate their style, and I hate their face. Right?
What's a duplicate?
All right. You want to hear about duplicates?
I mean, we do have to move on, but hit me.
Let's hear about duplicates. All right, so here's the duplicate system. What if I told you there was a talent system in the game that unlocks passive abilities for your character?
What's a talent system?
What's that?
What's a talent system?
Talent system such as, hey, this move can now be leveled up to level 15 instead of level 12, or when you hit a charged attack, you regain energy, or when you summon a little bear that breathes fire, it breathes more fire and does more damage, right? Passives,
modifiers,
stuff like that.
Yeah, okay.
Right? What if I told you there were 7 of those per character? And what if I told you that the only way you can unlock it is by feeding a character their duplicate?
So anytime you get extras of shit.
For example, in my demonstration of Gacha Bad, I got 4 Barbaras. This meant I could level up Barbara to Constellation level 3. Which makes that a very strong Barbara. So this is the absolute whale, gold harpoon. Because what if that 5-star character that has a 0.6% drop rate, what if their 7th Constellation's really good?
Wow. Now you have to get 7 duplicates.
Which, at bad luck time, would be 630 pulls.
So the rarest characters have duplicate feeding?
All of them do.
Oh, fuck that.
Which comes out to, if you want a 7 Constellation,
that's disgusting.
Venti, you need to spend maximum 1,764 Canadian dollars.
That's fucking disgusting. I understand where games use duplication as a means of saying, hey, we didn't waste what you got here, so let's convert it into money, or let's let you, okay, Overwatch converts duplicates into extra money. Teppen converts duplicates into extra money for reaping cards. I understand that process where it's like, hey, if you already have a lot of this library, we can give you a benefit for that or whatever the case is. Putting something on a character that you do particularly want, or like that is locked in whatever way, like on the rarest of the rare, saying you have to get that more than once, and if you're trying, oh fuck that, that's fucking
So
horrible. That's super gross,
the
dude.
the constellation stuff is all the weakest thing you can do to your character. Like
Okay,
like for example, if you go to
that
Genshin
sounds
Impact,
so gross.
if you go to genshinimpact.gg, there's a tier list, and the tier list assumes you have a rank 1 character.
You're fighting against PvE. Who cares about that stuff? Like,
Perfect.
it's not going to make a competitive advantage against another player that's
If
using
it's
it
pointless,
against you.
why does it exist? So that the whale piggies can whale piggy up. That is why.
You can probably kill
There's
the hordes just as fine.
There's absolutely no hiding the fact that this is a really good game with what might be the devil inside of it.
And it's all in your willpower.
Or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's why when I did a stream of it, I spent about 40 minutes describing this awful gacha shit. Because if I do stream it, I don't want to be telling people, hey, everybody, this is a cool gacha game. You should gacha it up. Because I know that people have gambling stuff.
Make no mistake, the funnest games in the future will come with Satan in the box.
Oh, no, not Satan.
They will find like I mean if they realize, like, they absolutely realize that, like, hey, making the gameplay really good is the biggest, most addictive thing you can do for making your big fucking lever puller, you know, your cow clicker, your whatever the case. And the way we're heading, you better believe that they're gonna do it. They're making shit that is like, yeah, this is all the things you want to play. This is the gameplay you want. This is a very, you know, and there's probably a fun loop to it, but it will have the devil in the box, and it's up to your willpower to resist. And hey, man, like, just don't bother. It's no big deal,
I think the biggest example
right?
of I think the biggest red flag in the whole thing was that you have to spend real dollars to get Genesis crystals, to get Primo gems, to get wishes, to get rolls. But if you're actually on the screen where you want to roll, if you just hit X enough times, it will eventually put you to the credit card screen and just math it out all for you.
Yeah.
Which at which point becomes, well, then why are you bothering to obfuscate it? Is it to confuse how much the shit is worth?
And the fucking thing's
Yes.
been out for less than a month. It's been out for like 2 seconds. So
It's been out for 8 days.
So it's not even at the level where you will see the cosmetics, which are usually incentive enough for people. If it's just like, hey, it's the same character, but here's a really cool Halloween version costume, or here's a really cool cosplay of something else, or whatever the fuck. And like, that on its own is more than enough incentive for a lot of people. They haven't even put that shit in yet.
Yeah.
Skins are a big deal, and skins, I care about skins.
Get ready for Halloween.
The new update with Amaterasu has a Morrigan, like, geisha kind of outfit, and like it changes all of her animations and things and whatever. And I was like, oh, that's very cool. That's a really nice job with this aesthetic, you know, like, you know. And I remember in Overwatch too, like, I'd be like, yo, I want that skin. That's a really cool skin. I care. I you know, I'm down to try and get that stuff for characters. What you're describing doesn't even have that level applied to it yet. Oh my god, that duplication thing.
So I was sitting here playing it, and it was before I did the stream. I hadn't spent any money, and because the game is new and it's been so popular and there's 20 million players now, They're just throwing out. They're just giving you tons of free currency in your in-game mail, right? They're doing that thing. Like, you remember how Monster Hunter did it? Like, 5 million player, that kind of thing.
Sure.
And I'm sitting there, and I rolled a bunch, and I got a couple things, and I was playing the game, I was having a great time, and then I just like kind of stopped, and I looked over a page, I'm like, this game is dangerous. This one is gonna get a lot of people because it's
the art style.
really, really good, and
got the art style.
really, really nefarious.
And
like it's the combination of the two.
And it's got the Baifus. They're baked in. They're all there.
Yeah.
So on a simple, like, I just like to look at the pretty things level, it still gets you.
Oh, it's killing it. These characters are great.
Well, anyway.
Pull the lever.